I need you to do me a favour. If you believe that Arsenal are going to win the Premier League, I need you to like this video. I need to monitor it because I've been saying it for donkey's years that this Arsenal team are dazzling. This Arsenal team are sensational. Mikel Arteta is getting everything right and I believe they're going to win the league. But I've been saying that since October. I now need to monitor how many people that watch these videos truly believe that Arsenal are going to win the Premier League. It is going to happen. It's painful. It's a painful reality, but I truly believe that it is a reality because listen to this. Manchester City next weekend are playing an FA Cup quarter-final. That means that Arsenal can go into April after the international break 8 points clear if they beat Palace. And let's face it, they're going to beat Palace. Patrick Vieira is currently getting away with it. Crystal Palace have not won a game of football this calendar year. You are going back to pre-World Cup to find Crystal Palace's last win. So, of course, Mikel Arteta's team are going to dismantle Patrick Vieira's, which will mean that Arsenal are 8 points clear. Of course, there'll be games in hand, but 8 points clear feels formidable. 8 points clear feels symbolic, and 8 points clear feels like champions. Just think about the resolute, resilient approach from this Arsenal team. They are so resilient. Whenever you think you've knocked them down, whenever you think there's a weakness, whenever you think something is going drastically wrong with this Arsenal team, they have the answer. They have now won 5 league games in a row since the defeat to Manchester City. Excuse me, that's right. 5 league wins in a row since they lost to City. Do you remember when they lost to City? That was off the back of dropping points to Brentford and Sean Dyche Day at Goodison Park and all that. And everybody was saying, this is it. This is going to be a Wenger-like capitulation. People were talking about William Gallas sitting on the pitch at St Andrews, feeling really sorry for himself. People were talking about losing to Nikola Zigic's Birmingham City. But this Arsenal are different. This Arsenal are resilient. They have fight, heart, determination, and the minerals for this title. And I am so envious. I desperately hope I'm wrong. I really do desperately hope I'm wrong. But I just think they're getting it so right. I really do. Look, we're going to come on to talk about the brilliance of Leandro Trossard and what the signing of Leandro Trossard actually represents to Arsenal. Because it's so much more than just a signing. It's the vision to sign him. It's the bargain that the player cost. It's the fact that he was such an astute signing. But there is a player that I want to flag before we get on to Trossard, because I don't think many people are. I think whoever's video you watch today, Leandro Trossard is going to be at the heart of it, right? I want to take this in a slightly different direction. Today, at Craven Cottage, it was yet another clean sheet away win for Arsenal. Do you know how impressive that is? Do you know how important it is to be able to trust your defence? Aaron Ramsdale certainly deserves a mention. But I think people are aware of his brilliance. I think people are aware that he is an excellent player. And I think people are aware that not only is he a brilliant goalkeeper, but he starts a lot of Arsenal attacks. He is at the epicentre of a lot of Arsenal attacks. So I think people are aware. I think that in these upcoming fixtures, when England play Italy and when England play Ukraine, I think a lot of people are expecting Aaron Ramsdale to start for England ahead of Jordan Pickford. So I think people are aware of how good Aaron Ramsdale is. I also think that Saliba gets the plaudits. I'm not saying that he isn't a great player. I'm not saying that he's not having a fantastic season. I'm just saying I don't need to flag it because I believe that you and the vast majority of football fans, the footballing public consciousness, is aware of William Saliba and the impact that he's had on elevating this Arsenal back line. Do you know who I think we need to talk about, though? We just have to talk about Gabriel. Look, Saliba's talent's completely unmissable, right? But it's time today to talk about Gabriel. I think he needs more praise. I think Arsenal fans are aware of it. And, you know, I've had discussions with Arsenal fans. I actually remember talking to Rory at AFTV about how good he was. And I wasn't convinced that I was on the hype train with Robbie, but he called it. I pushed back a bit, but I don't think outside of the Arsenal bubble, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I genuinely don't believe that outside of the Arsenal bubble, people are aware of quite how good Gabriel is. He is everything that you want in a centre-back. Did anybody else notice his performance when Arsenal beat Leicester 1-0? Big win. Leicester 1-0, good goal scored, away from home, title win, grind it out, chalk another game off. It was because of the back line. Look, Leicester are toothless. Leicester are all over the place. Leicester could go down. But Arsenal were a bit rocky there. And Trossard did well. There was a nutmeg. The ball ends up in the back of the net. I think Martinelli scored. But the performance of Gabriel's man of the match, undoubtedly. And I think I flagged that in my review. But I haven't really heard people talking about him. I don't feel like people are acknowledging his contribution as much as they should. I think that he is the perfect centre-half. If I were to say to you, what's he not good at? As a centre-half, is he quick? Yeah, he's quick. Is he strong? Yeah, he's quick. What's he like in the air? Yeah, he's excellent. What's his reading of the game like? Very good. Has he got a good partnership with his centre-back partner? Yeah, absolutely. Good relationship with the keeper? Absolutely. Has he got a will to wit? Yes. And I'll tell you what, there's a cherry on the cake. You've got to love a left footer, haven't you? You've got to love a left-footed centre-half. So I tell you what, if I were to say to you, name 5 centre-halves in the Premier League currently better than Gabriel, I don't think you could do it. And if you tried and did it, I'm afraid you're a liar because he's brilliant. He really is. Another brilliant. Look, I'm going to do it. I've got to do it. It's Trossard. But it's difficult with Trossard, right? Because it's so... The Arsenal recruitment drive, the way that Arsenal conduct their transfer business has been so astute over the past couple of years. It's very difficult to highlight who has been the best signing. But I'm going to go Trossard, man. Trossard for 20 million quid. It just feels like such a shrewd, brilliant signing with so much foresight. Like, remember at the time, it was Mudryk, and Mudryk was going to Arsenal, and then Chelsea felt like we got one over on Arsenal. Chelsea fans were really lauding it. And Arsenal kind of went, okay, no drama. We have a plan B, we have other options. And they went out and they signed Trossard. They identified flaws in their squad, and they went out and they signed the player to rectify it. So they identified that there was a problem in attack. They identified that they were a little bit weak, a little bit light, particularly if there was an injury. And they went and signed Trossard. Switched on. A player that can play instead of Saka. A player that can play with Saka. A player that can play instead of Martinelli. A player that can play with Martinelli. His time at Brighton, 4 years, he spent largely equal portions of it. Left, 10, centre forward. Brilliant signing. Lands at Arsenal, guaranteed, Premier League proven, 20 million quid. Superb signing. And a lot of people, a lot of clubs should take a leaf out of Arsenal's book here. Arsenal identified that problem. They identified where they were lacking. They identified a forward and they identified a central midfielder. And they went and got Jorginho and they went and got Trossard. Smart. Man City, despite being so well run and having the best manager in the world, they don't do that. Manchester City have identified that they have an issue at left back. They haven't signed one. Not only haven't they signed one, they've put one out on loan to sit on a bench in Europe. Like, blows my mind. It truly does blow my mind. But Leandro Trossard has just been sensational. And his performance in that first half from Arsenal was just devastating. And Trossard now becomes the first player in Premier League history to make a hat-trick of assists in the first half of an away game. Breaking records already since he's landed at Arsenal. And look, overall, it was a really good performance from Arsenal. I thought they were extremely impressive. I also thought that Fulham were wretched. I thought they were really poor. But look, 3 assists for Trossard, 3 different goal scorers, goals for Gabriel, for Martinelli, for Odegaard. Jesus got 25 minutes. Arteta just has to be delighted. And do you know what? Welcoming Gabriel Jesus back, we have to acknowledge quite how significant that is. Like, he had 120 days since his last game. Remember, he got injured in that game where Brazil played Cameroon. Who did they play? Yeah, I think it was that game. And anyway, he's back. So there is fresh weaponry. There's more goals. There's more options. And it is superb. And listen to this. Goals will win you titles, right? You know that myth? I believe it's a myth anyway. Where they say goals win you games, defences win you titles. There's a truth to it. But scoring goals and half helps. And this Arsenal team are full of goals. You've got Martinelli, Saka and Odegaard all on more than 10 goals. They are the only club in Europe, apart from Paris Saint-Germain, to have 3 forwards on more than 10 goals. Mbappe, Neymar and Messi are the other. What a triumvirate of devastation that is for Arsenal. You've got Martinelli on 12, Saka on 10, Odegaard on 10. This team will win the league. Put it in your pipe and smoke it if you don't want it to be true. I don't want it to be true. I desperately want to be wrong. But they're champions. They're behaving like champions. They're acting like champions. They're looking like champions. And Mikel Arteta is going to be a champion. Thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like. I would love for you to click subscribe. It would be my honour to welcome you into this community. So please do click subscribe if you fancy it. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Cheers.